You see, this how I know that y'all, the majority of y'all that's speaking, following people, and just adhering to anything is not well versed. And that's no shot, that's no diss. I love my people, I love all y'all. But I gotta call it how I see it. Especially those who's talking about, you gotta study to prove thyself. If you was studying and you was learning about the Creator YAHAYAH, then you would know the way and the personality and the trait of His servant, and you wouldn't act and do such things. And those who was listening to these people on these panels, on these channels, on these platforms, talking about they are the servant of God or of YAHAYAH of hosts, and they speaking with so much vulgar, so much anger, so much hatred, so much attitude, so much profanity, profaning the righteousness of YAHAYAH. If you was well versed, well read, and you was truly from your book's words, because I don't follow the New Testament, if you were truly studying to prove thyself, then that would have turned you off and you would have returned to YAHAYAH of hosts. He already said how His servant is viewed. He already exposed His heart. Isaiah chapter 42. He said, "Here is my servant whom I strengthen." YAHAYAH strengthens him. But you the people trying to strengthen these so-calleds who speaking this nonsense, pushing agenda and taking your money. Don't even give a dang about you. Got their own followers in the street, homeless, broke. But you listening to them. YAHAYAH hasn't strengthened them because he can't even help his own following. Then YAHAYAH says, "The one I have chosen, with whom I am pleased." So the one that this particular person, YAHAYAH is pleased with them. But how can YAHAYAH be pleased with people that talk so foolishly and do His people so dirty and have so much hatred in their heart? Then YAHAYAH says, "I have filled him with my Ruach, His spirit." So whatever you're listening to, and they speaking so contrary to this, how can you dare say that they have the spirit of the Almighty YAHAYAH? How can someone say that I am the vessel or I'm His servant when they don't carry the Ruach or the spirit of YAHAYAH? And in this particular case, what kind of Ruach is YAHAYAH trying to propose that His servant have? A compassionate, understanding heart, knows how to talk and deal with people. So check it. And he says, His servant will bring justice to every nation. In verse 2, YAHAYAH says that He will not shout or raise His voice or make loud speeches in the streets. But what is these people doing? Shouting, raising their voice in the street, raising their voice on these platforms. And that's who y'all listen to, who y'all deem as righteous, His servant, carry His Ruach. Contrary. Verse 3, YAHAYAH says that His servant will not break off a bent reed or put out a flickering lamp. You not understand what that means? That means if a person is struggling, don't fully understand, or they are incapable, but they are seeking and wanting and leaning on someone who's deeming themselves as a servant and carry the ruach of YAHAYAH. They leaning on this person so they can learn, so they can come about their struggle, to fulfill and have more understanding, to serve the Creator. He will not speak in a way to where they will feel uncomfortable and they would turn away. The majority of these people who you deem as credible have turned many away from YAHAYAH. Then they become Egyptian. They become any form of spirituality. They become atheists. They become something else. That's because they broke off the bent reed. If you know anything about fields of grass, it's very easy to bend that. That's a reed. It's very easy to bend that grass because it's not as strong. So you have to be gentle with it. So I love the analogy here. And then in verse 4, YAHAYAH says that his servant will not lose hope or courage, and it will establish justice on earth. Distant lands eagerly wait for his teaching. I believe, I missed one. He said he will bring lasting justice to all, but why will distant lands eagerly wait for his teaching? Because they haven't heard it. And his teaching is of YAHAYAH. It's righteous. It's beneficial for all people who chooses to serve and seek out the Creator who created them. It doesn't matter what nation, creed, no matter what you is. Of course, he is the power of Yasharala, but he is also the creator of all mankind, womankind. So all people can seek out the creator of all things. And if you are choosing his way, choosing to seek him, and learn what's really true on how we should act with each other, how we should treat each other, how we should be fair and just with each other. If you seek out YAHAYAH, then you are considered a servant unto him as well. And you should be treated like one who was born as of the nation of Yasharala. So, but we don't see that among these so-called leaders or so-called teachers. I'm gonna call them teachers because they ain't leaders. So-called shepherds. They just yelling, trying to push a point, push an agenda. Just trying to be loud because they equate loudness with believability. But the only form of believability is truth. And it's only one truth. YAHAYAH of hosts. And he's restoring his people back to their greatness. He's delivering us from our struggle. And all nations of people shall see it. For they know it, because they look at us with astonishment like, what's wrong with these people? They just don't know who they is. But we look at each other with disgust, hatred. So the word will fulfill itself because it's in play. So as time flies, we shall rise.